everyone. This is Elma, and tonight I have Adam of White Label Comedy, but I think I need to do a little bit of a switch here. Okay, that's it. Let me see. Okay, I think it looks good now, better. Okay, my logo is that way. Okay, so just to let you know that I found out about White Label Comedy a couple of months ago. So I purchased, I saw this ad on Facebook about Brands Against Mundanity. And I find it so interesting because it has a lot of those funny stuff around it. And I said, hey, this is something that could really work for my social media strategy. And because of that, so I purchased the is that the black box that I purchased? It's the entire thing, right? And then after that, I went on to contact Adam because I was so impressed with the strategy that he has presented. And I said, hey, I better contact Adam and maybe I can present this to our group. So tonight we have Adam of White Label Comedy. And Adam is, maybe Adam will tell you more about Adam, yeah? Better
Yeah, Adam can tell you all about Adam. Hello. Hi, great.
Or else. Okay, so it's your turn, Adam. Sorry about that.
So yeah, I'm Adam. So I'm the creative director of a very strange little company called White Label Comedy. We're officially the only creative agency powered by TV comedy writers. At least that's what I like to kind of call us. And it's basically the project, the product that Elma bought was actually something that we invented by accident about 2 years ago because we were busy writing jokes for our own clients. We wanted to kind of build a training that would teach, as a product to sell, but also to teach other people how to do what we do. And we had to fast track it because, we were a startup. We didn't have much money left in the bank. And so we were like, what element of this training can we kind of get to market really quickly? And we had this little idea that was, maybe we could use formats and formulas to teach joke writing. And we kind of went, okay, maybe it should be some kind of gamified thing. Immediately, Brands Against Mundanity, obviously it's a play on another popular card game, which I won't name because it's definitely, I don't want to get in any trouble. But the second that name landed, we're like, okay, yeah, this kind of is a thing, kind of makes sense. And it's basically just a set of formats, a set of prompts that you can use, or anyone can use to write jokes without having to think about them, and they work for brands and businesses. And we've since sold 10,000-15,000 copies of our various formats of Brands Against Mundanity, and it gave us a real platform to just grow our own audience and just bring in new clients. Obviously for us, we don't sell it to make a profit. We sell it so that people see what we do and they go, oh, that's cool. And then eventually some of them will hire us, or others invite us on their live streams, etc. But yeah, it's a ridiculous world I've built myself where I get to basically hang out with funny people all day long and have them write the jokes that I could never write myself, and that's a joy. So that's a very roundabout introduction, Elma. But
are you saying that you can't write a joke yourself?
Do you know what? I can now because of the formats and formulas and the models that we developed. But the truth is, if I used to be a TV producer, and in that world, I would. I write the boring script for a show, and then I get comedy writers who come in and punch it up. They add their jokes, they make it better. And if I'd have been a comedy writer by trade, I would never have ended up doing what I do because I would have been so happy just writing jokes and having fun. But actually, like as a producer, your job is to bring people together to do cool stuff and make things happen. And so I kind of just applied that to the work we're now doing over here. And I don't write jokes because my guys are way better than me. Truth is, I'm still the guy that says whether or not a joke is good enough, or whether it kind of works. And I think if I had to write the jokes, I would. But it's way much better, especially when we're doing work for our clients. It's way easier for me to just go, here you go, guys, write me brilliant jokes. I'll take all the credit. So yeah, I very rarely get my hands dirty in the trenches these days.
Okay. So yeah, that is quite interesting, but I recall you did something. You work with some brands that we cannot name. is that Voldemort or no, right? But you work with brands that we cannot name because you signed NDAs with them. But do you have any specific example of maybe what we can do here is instead of me asking you, can we ask everyone? I have here Vijay, Joginder, and hi, Amazing Life. Sorry, I don't know your name. And I want to find out more. What are your business all about? And let's see how we can use comedy as part of your social media strategy. Because for me, this so far is the best social media strategy that I have found. So if you saw recently in our groups, I've been posting some stuff like, hey, is your social media boring? And a lot of people say yes.
Of course,
And
everyone says yes. By default, we don't know how to make it interesting.
right, by default, nobody knows how to make it interesting. And then I was on a private chat with the admins, and I was like, oh, my day was so funny today. I was testing an app called MeetGeek.ai. So that is a transcription app for meetings. And in that meeting, I was talking to my team, and I we were talking about the apps we use, and I said, hey, do this in closer's copy. So I was teaching my team, hey, this is an app that they have to use for that particular task. And it was transcribed as closest coffee. And I think that was just hilarious. And I showed that screenshot to my group of admins, and they said, "Oh, that was so funny. Better post it in the group." And the people in the group found it funny because they understand that hey, we work with AIs, and they know that the AI is not perfect and it can fail, and sometimes these fails are quite funny. And yeah, so that's the thing. And so, Adam, can you tell us more about this technique? You talk about something about what really make people engage.
Yeah. So I think it's funny actually. When we first started doing this for our clients, obviously we knew how to write jokes, but we didn't really know what why certain jokes worked, especially for brands. What is it that makes people engage? And so we would just kind of take a topic and just break it down and write a million jokes for that topic, and then see what worked and see what didn't work. But what we do now is very different. What we do now is we start by identifying what are the relatable truths that an audience will really strongly identify with, and kind of what's going to resonate with them. So, I don't know if anyone's posted kind of the industry they're in. Elma, we can kind of pick some of those apart, but it's those strongly held beliefs. It's the fears, pains, desires of your market, basically. The thing, so people engage with social content for two reasons. Either it is what we call bookmarkable, and that means that it's valuable content, it's useful to them, it might be useful either now or in the future, or they engage because it's badge worthy, like it represents them and who they are and how they want to be seen. And actually that badge worthy driver is the biggest, because people aren't on social to tell you they liked your post. They're on social to find a good post and tell their friends they found it. And so if we can think about, all right, what does my audience need to either need or want to demonstrate to their own audience, and whether that's their friends, whether that's a business audience, if you're talking about LinkedIn, etc., then we can really begin to serve up content that's actually going to drive engagement. And I think one of the brilliant things about comedy is everyone wants to be seen as fun, funny, on the money, kind of on trend. So jokes by default are content that people want to share and declare. It's kind of like, there's this really funny post that I found, you should see it too. And the real challenge after you've got to the point where people can you're giving people content that they're going to engage with, the real challenge is how do we make sure this actually has relevance to our business? Because the example of the AI going wrong, yeah, it's funny, but does sharing that joke with people do anything for our business or our brand? Not so much. It shows them we're funny, but there's kind of more to it than that. But yeah, the relatable truth, that is the biggest, most important discovery in our journey is don't make jokes about topics, make jokes about the things your audience strongly believes, give them content that they agree with, and then they go, oh, everyone, you should see this, and then that's the content that goes viral, whether it's funny or not. And that's the other most important thing is relatability trumps humor. Honestly, like, find out what your audience really care about and just say it with like, am I right, guys? And they will react to that better than a really well-crafted joke based on something that they don't agree with.
Okay, I can relate to that. You said relate. Okay, I can relate to that because that AI joke that I talked about earlier, that transcription fail. If I tell my normal friends who are not into tech stuff like me, they would not know what I'm talking about. Like, what are you talking about? That will be but for me, it's so funny. For my
Yeah.
friends like Fernando and Aristotle, they were all laughing so hard when they saw that screenshot from me. And yeah, it's a thing. So relatability is a very important factor because if you showed this to someone who has no idea what that is all about, then nothing. It falls on deaf ears. So okay, hey, somebody asked me. Okay, let's see. It's from VJ. They ask why the name white labeled comedy, because in our industry, who likes software a lot, white label is a big thing. Do you know that?
Yeah, so that's why the name. So basically, to if you buy soap that someone else has made and you label it as your own soap and you put it out with your brand, and you kind of white labeled that soap. And so for us, what we're saying is you can white label our comedy. You can. That's why lots of our bigger name clients, we don't get credited with a lot of the work we do because they like to be able to just say, this is just our internal team. They're just here in-house in our building. They just happen to be funny. They happen to be naturally talented. So yeah, we're giving people the opportunity to white label our comedy writers and our humor. It actually, there's a sort of slightly long roundabout journey between TV producer and running this company, where I launched a satirical website with the help of my comedy writers from my TV world, and I had clever ideas for a clever business model with fast turnaround merch and stuff like that never quite panned out. And the initial iteration for white label comedy was kind of, I won't name the website because it's long since dead, but it was like that website white label, and so we were sort of saying we take the writers from that website and we white label them, and then we realized that actually just white label comedy is simpler and people don't need to know any of the journey to get there. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Okay, so Vijay, that answered your question. I'm sure it does. Okay, and Musam is asking, okay, because to do social media, you need some catchy headlines, titles, and actually captions as well. So it's not just about the image, but you also need the captions and the titles, the headlines. So do you have any strategy to, how to do that?
So not directly, but everything we do tracks back to that relatable truth. So, when we're working with a new client, or when one of our students is kind of building out their own content plan, they build out what we call a relatability matrix, which is basically a huge dossier of all of the relatable truths that an audience is going to respond to. And so our priority for any piece of content is the joke. There's always a joke at the heart of everything, and generally we like to put that in the image because it's the best place to get attention. So most of the content we create for clients, the focus is on the image, and then the post copy plays a supporting role essentially. So the way we like to work is that post copy is kind of just there to drive a little bit more engagement once someone has seen and laughed at the joke. We're kind of just making it relevant to the truth that they hold. Whatever if there's a particular pain point that we are empathizing with in the joke, then we're going to ask them about that pain. I think that what Musam's question though is kind of getting. It's more relevant when we are doing content for clients on LinkedIn, etc., where the post copy definitely has a bigger impact than the joke itself, and kind of without catchy post copy, no one's going to even sort of stop to read the joke. And in that context, just tell them enough to get them interested, but don't tell them everything. So, there was a post the other day actually that I put out on my own LinkedIn that it was at the moment that the Queen, I don't know if anyone knows, our Queen just died, and there was a moment that she. By the way, this has nothing to do with comedy. You won't be surprised to hear, but it was the moment which the news was beginning to break, and I knew what was happening. I knew that she was about to be pronounced dead, and I wrote a post basically because I used to be a TV producer and I've worked at the BBC for many years, and they've had, for the last 20, 30 years, they've had a plan for this moment. And so my kind of opening line for the post was, if you turn on BBC One right now, you'll see the very first stages of a plan that's been in motion for over 30 years. And what I didn't say was, guys, the Queen's about to die. And I think if you say, guys, the Queen's about to die, then you've not opened a loop. You're just telling people what's going on and then giving them your opinion. Whereas my opening line there was intriguing enough that people go, oh, is it the Queen? Is that what you're talking about? And then they'll click on and kind of read more. That post actually, obviously I try and put out lots of funny stuff. That was the best performing post I've ever put on LinkedIn. It got 100,000 odd people saw it, 1,000 or so engagements, which, we've been dark on LinkedIn for about 2 years now. So I'd been back on there posting for about a week. So it really just with the headline, tell them, open a loop, make them curious, kind of tell them. See, people that are trying to sell you courses on how to write post copy will bore you to tears with like tell them you're going to tell them something, but don't tell them it. Don't do that. That's lame. Don't try and be too clever. Don't be like, hey, I've got a top tip for how to solve this problem. I'll tell you in a minute. But first, people see through that completely. But just gently stoke their curiosity, and once you've got them reading past that opening line, the rest is they're kind of yours for the taking, really.
Okay. And okay, so I'm going through, because you mentioned LinkedIn. Should I go through your LinkedIn profile and look for that post?
Feel free. Yeah, feel free.
Yeah. Okay, I'll share my screen. Just do that. So we can dissect that post. I think that's a very good example.
Yeah, it's a good example. Obviously, it's not a funny post. It's not one of my favorites, but it shows again that, jumping on what is in everyone's, what is in your audience's mind right now at this very moment. If you can jump on that, then you are gonna give them content that they're going to engage with. So it's a long way back from here. Oh God, we're in some kind of infinite loop there.
Right. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay. As usual, technology is not my best point, but it's fine. We will survive. Okay. So now
So if you
we
just scroll
screen,
down
right?
from here.
Okay. Oh, this was funny.
It was funny, but it got barely any engagement, and that's something that whenever you're creating content that is trying to be funny, you need to test and iterate, and that's one that didn't go down very well. So yeah.
Well, we're always testing.
Yeah.
Okay. We got enough.
Keep going. This is like a window into my my ridiculous world.
What have you been posting, Adam?
Too much. Keep going.
Okay, tell me when to stop.
Hang on. Oh no, keep going. You're probably still about a week too far ahead. Keep going.
Show more results.
Oh no. Okay, now you've gone too far. Now you've gone too far back in time.
Okay. Let's go back up.
All right. Maybe these aren't in order. No,
It
keep
looks
going.
like it.
No, so it's definitely before. It was posted before any of these ones, but that picture, that one of me in my dressing gown, that's about 6 months old. So it's not that.
I don't think it's this is 6 months old, seven
No,
months old.
those are old as anything. All right, let's just
Okay.
go slowly, and I'll try and see
Okay.
the opening line. I hope this is worth it for everyone. Everyone's tuned in to hear me chat about comedy, and we'll just pick apart a post about the Queen. But it is a good post to look at. No,
Oh,
that's not
it's
the
not that
one.
one.
Okay, no, go up. No,
A
I
week
think
ago.
it's whatever filters you're using. I don't think it's.
My only filter is Adam
Stop,
Hunt.
we're here. We're here. This is the
Just
one. This is the
kidding.
one.
Is this
Okay,
the one?
this is the one.
Okay.
Okay, it's quite small on your screen, so I don't know if you want to zoom in so we can see it.
Let's find out how I can zoom in. Hey guys, by the way, you can follow Adam here on LinkedIn, or yeah, ask him to connect. Okay,
Yeah,
so
please
if
do. I need more. I need more friends on LinkedIn. We've been very quiet there lately, as you can see from some of our posts.
all right, so there you go. So if you're in the UK, pop on BBC One right now, and you'll see what looks like the very beginning of a somber process that's been planned, and that plan constantly revised for the last 20 or 30 years. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and I think this is a line that obviously the news was just beginning to break, and so people kind of had a sense that something was happening, but they didn't quite know what. And this was this was timed perfectly because not everyone had heard any of the news yet. So yeah, I'll let you skim us through it, Elma. I won't narrate it, otherwise it'll be weird.
okay, and you are sad. All right, so don't react, don't respond, don't post. Not yet. Okay. Oh wow, you have 1,000 engagement here.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
and it got organic reach of 100,000. I think 115,000 in the end. So, and that's we've got what 13,000 connections on there. So that was you normally talk about engagement as a percentage of your followers. So this is 1,000% of our followers
right. That
saw
is
it.
really good. That's really good. And 66 comments, 11 shares. That's really good. So yeah, so being relatable, that is very important. And let me turn off my screen sharing now. Okay. Uh-huh. There you go. Just the two of us again. And let's see. So okay, so you mentioned earlier, okay, you write jokes, right? Or at least you write jokes for your clients.
Yes.
Now, is it safe actually to do that? Because you say there is a brand safe way to do that. And how can you say that it's brand safe and it's funny at the same time? How can you do that?
So yeah, that's a question we get asked a lot, and the answer is actually super simple. So because everything we do begins with that research. So this dossier of relatable truths, we haven't just sort of come up with them, scribble them down on the back of a napkin. We haven't just decided, oh, I think someone who's into someone in a kind of SaaS audience would think about this or care about this. Everything is research based. So if a relatable truth exists in our document, then it's something that the majority of the audience already agrees with. And so when you feed those truths into a joke, you're writing a joke that the audience also agrees with. And yes, if you choose truths that are contentious or truths that only half the audience agrees with, then you can easily get into trouble. So what we're not going to do is, if it's election time, when we had clients who were over in America during the elections, and we're not going to make jokes about the Democrats or jokes about the Republicans for a client whose audience is 50-50 split down the line. because that would be risky, because you're always, people that disagree with the joke are gonna be offended, or are gonna think that you're, you know, batting for the wrong team. But obviously, if our client was the Democrat Party or the Republican Party, then we would go political. But even with that big topic, it doesn't mean you can't make jokes about the election. You just have to find out what everyone agrees with. So, you know, we all agree that all this electioneering is exhausting. We agree that you can't trust anyone these days anyway. You agree. So even with the big stuff that could be controversial, never split the room, just find out what the room agrees with. And actually, you know, most of our clients anyway, we aren't creating topical content. We aren't reacting to the news for those clients. We are just taking the fears, pains, and desires that surround use of whatever it is they're selling, and we turn those topics into content. And it's so, you know, it can, the jokes can seem edgy because it seems like we are, you know, because they're jokes and people could assume that they're risky, but all you're doing is taking your audience's beliefs and just handing them back to them in the form of a joke. And if you've done the research right, there's no way that gets risky.
Right. Of course, yes, it has to be safe. And I also know of one guy, actually Charles. He mentioned that in our group and say, hey, to get engagement, one has to start a fire. But it's not necessary, you know. It's not necessary to start a fire to get engagement.
I think a valid way to get engagement is to piss people off, is to be, you know, is to be controversial. But is that the kind of engagement you want? Do you,
Right.
you know, do you want people, do you want to be that divisive? Would you not rather be you know, the kind of the fire around which everyone gathers to talk about their shared experience? That's a much more positive place to be. So, you know, I think people starting fires to get engagement are people who've run out of options. They've run out of ideas, of ways to be entertaining, and they're just being contentious because that's their only option. So yeah, it does drive engagement, but it drives engagement from people being annoyed at you or being angry. So I guess the place in which it could be valid is, imagine you've got an audience of people who have differing opinions, and you can get them discussing those opinions with each other, but neither side of the debate is against you or what you're doing. You can be clever about it and get people discussing and debating enthusiastically, shall we say, but still it's just you don't need to split the room when you can unite them around their, you know, their shared experience is our preferred way of doing it.
Okay, so yes, because part of online reputation management, which actually my company provides services of, is making sure that these fires are contained, and it can be a tough job, I must say, especially when the fire is really huge. So I don't agree that starting a fire is the only way you get engagement. There are better ways. Just put it that way.
Agreed.
Yeah, there are better ways. Okay, and okay, so Musam asked earlier, like, what is a strategy for the catchy titles, and then he is just saying or commenting that he has a hobby website where he posts articles related to personal development, and he puts keywords in titles but can't come up with any catchy titles to draw traffic. Yeah, sometimes AI cannot do that too. You know, this really requires human brain to find out what is relatable and what will work.
So this feels more like an SEO question than a social content question, but still related. but relatability is still just as important, because if you know what your audience's actual pains are, like no one in your audience is googling is googling the keywords in your on your hobby pages. They're googling to solve a problem. They're looking for something specific, and whether that is, I can't find, I don't know what the hobbies are, but say it's juggling. They're like, best juggling balls in Widnes or something. They're looking to solve something, and so if you can work out what their problem is, then your catchy title just relates to that problem. You just need to, and it doesn't need to be like, here are 5 ways to solve the problem. It could just be, here are 5 people with the problem. Here are 5 times, 5 times that juggling ball buying went wrong. I know that's a really bad example because I know nothing about hobbies or juggling balls, but it's the relatability matrix that we create for our clients. They use that as their kind of source of truth for a lot of their other content often, because it's a real window. It's people can look at those reports from SEMrush, kind of what people are asking, questions people are asking, etc. But there is nothing like getting it from the horse's mouth and knowing what your audience actually cares about. And I would say don't overthink catchy titles. Just find out what your audience wants from you, and then give them that. Just give them what they need and want. And you can only do that if you understand their truths. And I think, a kind of SEMrush report of keywords you need to stuff into an article, I've already lost interest in everything you're trying to sell. And so step away from keyword stuffing and think about the person who might want to read the piece.
Right. Okay. Now I like that, because a few weeks ago, I was talking to Powell, who is an expert in SEO, and about the Google algorithm change on helpful content. And yeah, so that is really people first rather than keywords first.
Yeah.
That's the thing, okay? People first rather than keywords first. Do your research, find out what is relatable, what is useful for them. And yeah, because if it's something useful for them, then they will engage, right? And then, like, right now I am getting a lot of messages privately. Apparently I created a group and I did not know about. I think while we were streaming, and then I was on another screen driving something, and then they said, oh, there's a secret society now of us. Okay, so no, we don't have a secret society, so sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let's see. Things are okay. So here, Ankit is asking, I never thought about adding any joke while writing technical post, and he wants to try it. How can he start?
So the simplest joke is, like, my definition of a joke is, you've got 2 things that shouldn't quite fit together, but you've made them fit together with the help of like a perfectly placed twist in the middle. And one of the simplest ways to be funny is to exaggerate. So you could just, again, if we're talking about articles, you could have say it was an article that was sort of technical post, about 5 common mistakes that someone makes, or 5 things you need to know, or five features, and just for each of them, just brainstorm a kind of a slightly over the top analogy. So whatever that point is for the main bullet, just go, right, it's a bit like ... It's, if something is hard, come up with a way to say how hard it is using something else, using some kind of reference point, and you'll find that you kind of write jokes. So yeah, I think that would be my tip, is just start being playful. Start being playful in how you explain things, and you'll be you'll be writing jokes without realizing it, especially if you're using what matters to your audience to kind of fuel that playfulness.
Okay, and okay, let's see. Okay, VJ's question. Can I use to create memes? I did not particularly understand what this is, but can he apply this to any industry of his clients?
So I think, well, one thing VJ might be talking about is obviously we've got a few things we're discussing here. One are the general principles of how you use the idea of relatability to create content. And absolutely, you can apply that to any industry and any client. I defy anyone to give me an industry that you couldn't use relatability to engage people within. If you're asking, specifically, obviously we have a number of tools and trainings that we sell. Then one of them is, Brands Against Mundanity, the Meme Maker Edition. So we have a whole set of prompts and templates specifically designed to help you write memes and create memes. So yeah, definitely it can, it's universal. It's literally just, who are we trying to appeal to? What matters to them? Let's speak to them. Actually, like Elma, we were discussing earlier, we've got a slightly more involved training that has lots more kind of recipes and templates, but really nothing that we are doing is that revolutionary. We're just saying, hey, understand your audience and then give them what they want. It's just that we've got a framework to help you do that, which makes it easier than it otherwise would be. But there isn't anywhere this wouldn't work, because all we're saying is, do your research, understand them, be playful in the way that you reflect their beliefs back at them, and you have content that I actually enjoy.
Okay, and maybe I'll just show something that, okay, some of my viewers know, or some of the people in my group know that I'm in the beauty industry. And I have a beauty products and wellness. I have beauty products and wellness products, and I just want to show a couple of examples of, because I purchased Adam's Brands Against Mundanity. Come on, please load up. Okay. And one fine afternoon, like the moment I got it, I started using the prompts. I came up with 60 posts in one afternoon, and that's really a lot. Okay, but there's one very particularly funny one that my daughter was laughing when she saw it, and I will share that one. And Adam hasn't seen this before, so this is really okay. Let me just share my
I'm
screen again.
excited.
My work is funny. Okay, so this one. Okay, so my company sells rosehip seed oil, and what it does is it prevents wrinkles, or it prevents wrinkles, or it keeps you young, or your skin looking younger. And this is the joke. Hey, when my dad thought I am 30 and found out I am 50, and he was shocked. So this is something, but I haven't put this yet on my social media for this company. And that's because I don't know what kind of caption to write with it. Because, okay, fine, I got this really nice image. I got this really very catchy thing, but I don't know what to write beside it. And this is the reason why, again, I contacted Adam and said, hey, I need help. What do I do with this? So, yeah, and now that Adam and I are talking now, I'm getting more and more ideas on what to do.
Do you know what? So it's funny that post is one that a year or so ago we wouldn't have delivered a post like that to our clients, because that is actively selling. When you sort of think, right, what's the joke about? And that joke is still trying to sell. And what we want to do with the majority of our content is just meet the audience where they're at and entertain them. So it's like the jokes about how I'm struggling to get ready for a date or look good or feel good, or my self-esteem and where it's at. Those kind of jokes are great. Very recently, we sort of broadened out our model and our system, because actually what we realized was that we were delivering jokes to our clients that got engagement, made people laugh, but we weren't doing enough of a job of selling. So that is now a textbook example of what I would call a showcase post, which is one that, so basically our kind of system, we've got four key post objectives. So entertain content, which is what most of your content should be. And then we've got learn, teach, and showcase. And showcase posts are where you try and make people buy stuff. So when I would say with that post, your post copy should be something that ultimately, it doesn't need to have a link to make a sale, but I want to see something that's basically, making them consider their current state of mind, their current problem, and then is positioning you as the solution. And I think other jokes that are less about what I'm selling and more about just where the audience is now, those you want a caption that's going to just ask them a question, get them to engage, so you get more organic reach and get more people seeing it. But yeah, that post, I would somehow just inception them to want to buy. It comes at the point in the process where it's time to say, yeah, buy this.
Right. Okay. And then, okay, so because we know that we are talking about social media, but DG is asking if he can use your courses to write short comics. So can you do that?
I'm going to say you can do what you want. Feel free. No, so I don't think any of the things we sell gives you everything you need to be able to write short comics. But what they do is make you realize how simple jokes are and how easy they are to write. Because really, a joke is just this thing over here, sort of paired with this thing, given a clever twist in the middle. And one of my favorite things is when people buy Brands Against Mundanity and the various sets, they start by using the formats slavishly. And then they go, oh, actually, I can see how that format is working. I'm going to write my own that is completely separate, but still obeys the same rules of comedy. Get to that point, and yeah, then you can apply that and you can write comics. But I don't want to overpromise and make you think that you can make a comic that's just kind of 6 memes in order on different panes, because that would be an overreach.
Is there any kind of frequency that you have seen for this type of post? Like, hey, do I post this type of post every day or once a week? Or
so we like to recommend to our clients and our students, post something once a day. So you pick a primary platform, post something every day, and the kind of the vast majority should be entertained content. So straight up, just I'm here to I'm here to make you laugh, but with a purpose. So it needs to be based around some kind of pain that they're suffering, and that. I think we deliver to our clients 16 of the 31 posts in a month are entertain posts. So that's, just over half are entertain. To be honest, one of the other big categories is learn posts, which we probably won't go into the detail of here, but they're mostly polls, but they're kind of funny polls. So they are kind of entertain as well. So that makes, what's 6 of them? So 22. So I would say a good 2/3 of your posts should be entertaining people, because the second you post something that is selfish, where you're saying, hey, buy this, do this, do what I want, no one sees it, no one reacts, your organic reach just crumbles, and then you're kind of starting again from scratch. So see it as kind of you're building up engagement. You're trying to put out a few different posts to warm up the audience, and then they're ready for something boring that says, "Hey, give me some money." So yeah, and obviously the best way to do it, the way we teach it, is to make all of your posts funny. So even the ones where you're asking for money, is make those funny. But that's harder, and that's less essential. So yeah, does that answer the question?
yeah, I think so. Yes, definitely. And so you're saying around 60% would be the entertained post, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll have to go back to my lessons. I think I missed that lesson. How many posts exactly? And okay, hi Sam, hi Praveen. So we have more people coming in. And what else? So not much questions on from our audience. So I think we just talk more about, maybe we should talk more about what you actually offer in your company then, if that's the case, because they don't have much questions now. And let's see, let me share again my screen. And I am not the expert of sharing screens. Okay.
I really like that kind of really trippy infinity share when it shares this video a million times over. I think it's kind of hypnotic.
Yeah, it's like Inception. Okay, so here is Adam's website, and you can see that it's white label comedy, and he has packages, products, and trainings. So you can find everything about their work here. Which one should I click?
So I think probably if you click on products and trainings, that's the best place to for people to look, because there's a whole load of different things. So obviously, Brands Against Mundanity. This is our original and most popular product. So it's the bundle. There is, you've got our meme maker set of cards, but also a set of graph gags, and our original, so the original set, Brands Against Mundanity, was originally just text-based jokes, and so that's you get 2 text-based versions in that bundle as well. That's a great place, I think. Like I said earlier, what I love is seeing people play around with Brands Against Mundanity, as you have, Elma, and
Yes, I did.
you begin to kind of see the matrix and kind of spot, you're, oh wow, I realized how simple it is to write jokes. So I would start with something like Brands Against Mundanity, and then our other trainings are just there for those that want to go deeper, basically.
Right. And I actually have this course as well, the Social Success Machine Blueprint and Masterclass. And this is very intense, 90 minutes, no fluff. I must say that. It's really wow. I learned a lot. And this I haven't seen yet, but I am going to look next.
Yeah, I think so the Social Success Machine, basically, I kind of touched upon it earlier, but we realized a little while, maybe earlier this year, that we were resourcing our clients with just the funny stuff, but the ones that were getting the best results from our funny stuff were doing certain other things. There were certain other objectives they were hitting with their content. There were certain other activities they were, carrying out behind the scenes. They were sort of showing up with proactive engagement, etc. And so we tried to boil all that down into a system that we could follow for our clients, just to make sure that we can get them the best results, because we want to make sure that we can reliably win for them and make sure that they're getting a return on their investment. So the Social Success Machine Accelerator was kind of our big flagship program, as we teach that to people who can't quite afford to hire us as clients. And then the Blueprint and Masterclass, it's like the sort of 80-20 of the Accelerator, where we're teaching you all the most important principles, ideas. The Accelerator's full of really detailed recipes that you can follow, and there's a load of really, really awesome resources. But actually, the most important thing here is just understanding those 4 key post objectives of entertain, learn, teach, and showcase, and then the 4 essential activities to make sure people see your posts. And that's the most useful thing anyone can learn, I think, if they're trying to grow an audience and not waste their time and their energy.
Okay. And all right. So we also have here speed reading your audience, Brands Against Mundanity monthly. Oh, what is this Brands Against Mundanity monthly? I don't think I've
So
this yet.
BAM monthly is basically, we were being asked for ages. Obviously we made our original 4 sets, and people are like, okay, but have you got more? I need more. I want more, please. So this time last year, we finally gave in and launched a subscription service. So basically every month we give 31 new Brands Against Mundanity prompts to people. So it's a great way to never run out of inspiration. I think we've got something like 450 subscribers, so it's still a relatively small subscriber base. So it means you're kind of you're not going to run into another brand using the same prompt in your niche out there, likely. But it's that's a nice. Also, actually, so I think that the offer there was one that we created ages ago, which is we'll give you, pay for a year, give you 5 months free, pay for 7 months, give 5 months free, and you get our back catalogue. When we first created that offer, our back catalogue was like 3 different sets. Now there's a full year's there. So actually that's probably a bit too generous of an offer that I should take off the website soon. But there's no. I will get back to that. There's a full year of prompts there right now for anyone that gets there before I remember to flick the switch.
I won't remind you. Trust me.
It's all right. I won't remind myself either. I'll often forget.
I won't remind you. Okay, and selling with story map. Okay, you really have a lot of courses, and I'm just on the top, the beginners courses. So one by one, I'll go through this. So this
Yeah,
is really cool stuff.
they're all good for different reasons. I think actually, so the accelerator program comes with speed read your audience and selling with story, because they're both really useful additions. So we spoke a lot about relatable truths, and the speed read your audience course. Basically, we're teaching you to build a questionnaire that you can send to your best customers, and they just hand those relatable truths to you on a silver platter, so you can then use them in your content. And selling with story is just a nice, easy method for writing long form post copy, because it is somewhere people struggle. And so it's just a simple technique for starting with a relatable truth and showing you how we build a story out of that. That's gonna work with, in places like LinkedIn where things need to be longer. I think cards on the table, writing jokes that sell, is one of our most loved courses, but it's old, and I want to update it. So I would say it's brilliant because you get to see us write jokes live, but don't buy it because there's going to be a better version coming out in a few months. So I would say that's not one to buy today, is my honest assessment.
Okay, good. And thanks for your honesty. And I like this selling with story masterclass because I do write landing pages, funnels. And yeah, this is something I'm definitely going to look at because when I write a landing page, I need to tell a story. So if there is something that can make me better in storytelling, if
Yeah,
there's
do
any
you know
course for
what?
that, that's what I'll
That's
do.
so that's an interesting. We've only really built the course around long form post copy,
Right.
but I can see the methods and the principles working for sales pages too. We are planning some trainings around sales pages and Facebook ads particularly as well, because obviously we do that kind of thing for our clients too. But that's what I never want to do, is rush out a training that isn't based on the actual wins of our own clients. So it's going to be a little while before that's ready to roll, but that's definitely on the agenda.
Okay. All right. So Vijay is asking if you have a portfolio. Okay, let's put it this way. Adam has a lot of clients that he has signed NDAs with, and he can't really share those brands with us, especially in the live audience. But yeah, okay. Let's see what we can do about that. But I've seen, yeah, sorry.
No. So basically, yeah, we have a portfolio hidden away. So when someone gets in touch and wants to hire us, there's loads of samples we share with them to show what we do and prove that it's funny. We're in the middle of reworking the website, because actually there is much more that we haven't got online that we can show. But it is true that basically our best case studies are ones where the brands would never let us speak about them. And obviously, because we said earlier, the most important part of being on social is being social. So, my one bit of advice for everyone is just spend your time being active and engaging. And that, if you can't commit the time to be active on the platform and engage with your audience, don't hire us to create your content, because without the two working together, you won't get the results you need, and it'll be a wasted investment. So I think first and foremost, show up. And also, when you show up on the platform, you actually get to know your audience and you learn things from them, and you gather those relatable truths kind of implicitly. So yeah, don't avoid, like, we won't work with clients now that just want to broadcast content and have no intention to engage directly, because they're going to be wasting their money. So yeah, but anyone that wants to see more details of the work, drop me an email, book a call on our website, and I'd be more than happy to share with you the stuff that I can't talk about publicly, for sure.
All right. So, hey, we are running out of time, and Adam has to go. You told me that you have to go 5 minutes before on the hour, and that's about now. So, thank you so much for your time, Adam. And I will share with everyone in our group your details, including your website and the discount code and how they can reach you. And then also look for Adam Hunt on LinkedIn. I think you're the only TV comedy producer on LinkedIn. That is Adam Hunt. So you should
Yeah,
be easy to
I'm
find.
pretty easy to find. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us, and we will see you again next week for another live stream. And thanks so much, Adam. And
Been a
then
pleasure. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging
see
out.
you. See you. Thank
See you
you.
later.
Good. Bye bye. Good night.